Dazed and confused. Do you have an example or a few where a musician band is using discovery process more than design? I would say probably all of them. Okay, I've got. So the first thing to say is that discovery doesn't replace design. In fact, design. Okay, so let's make a distinction here. Design, small d, what I'm calling design, small d, so designing, sound design is what I would call sound design, small d. Yeah? How you bet, the most optimal way to do sound design would be to use discovery and design. The back and forth of discovery and design. Okay? So design isn't, the design mindset is a way of interacting with the process, and how you design things, is by using discovery and design. And the problem has been, and what I'm pointing to, is that people get locked into design, big D, the design mindset, which is like thinking their way into music rather than doing both. So let me explain what I mean. You have an idea. Oh, I know what I want to do. Okay. Now, what I would call that is a design idea. Yeah. You have a design in your head. So you go to your equipment and you start moving towards that. In the process of moving towards that, you keep your ears open because you're in discovery now. You keep your ears open. Now you're moving in the direction of your design idea. Yeah. And yes, sometimes you do reach that design idea. Like, oh, okay, I've done it. Yeah. But if you are using the discovery process, in the course of doing that, you hear something else, which wasn't your design idea, but because you're in discovery, you're like, I'm going to go in that direction. So you've maybe slightly changed course, maybe massively changed course. Yeah. And when you've found this new thing, that often gives you another design idea. So then you're in a slightly different direction. So then you move forward in the direction of this design idea, but with your ears open, listening to what's coming out of the speakers. And then often something that you weren't expecting will come up, and then you go with that. Yeah. And that gives you another idea. So now you're in design again. Okay. Because what people do, what people tend to do is they obsess about this design idea in their head. And the problem with that is that you do not listen to what's coming out of the speakers, so you're missing loads of opportunities. So actually what discovery is an interplay of the design mindset and the discovery mindset. It's like a dance between the two. And it is a mistake to it is a good exercise, for instance, when you're learning about how to use a synth, to actually, as a training exercise, to actually say, okay, I'm going to try and make this sound. Yeah, but that's in order to learn what, cutoff and resonance and things like that do. When you're actually creating rather than learning, something to do with sound design, it wants to be much freer than this. Where I was really surprised when I read a book about Apple's design process. I think if there's a company in the world that kind of stands for design, yeah, the process of design, it's Apple. And I actually read it in order to be challenged about my ideas around discovery versus design, because I wanted to see where I was wrong, where my blind spots were. It's called creative selection. Selection being the operative word here. Yeah. Selecting from what? Selecting from a load of discovery, right? So creative selection is by Ken Kosienda. It's inside the design process of Apple or something. And Ken Kosienda, he was the guy that was, I think he led the team or something for the keyboard on the iPhone, which was a big, design challenge. And what I was amazed to find was that in that book, they actually described exactly the same thing, this dance between discovery and design. Okay. So specifically answering your question, Dazed and Confused, look on YouTube, not now, after this live stream is finished, for a video, Claude Von Stroke, vocal chords. Okay. And he describes the making of one of his tracks from his second album, I think it was. And And right there, you've got discovery going on and design together. And the reason I kind of point out discovery, just to reiterate this, is that people get caught in design and do not use discovery. They just like obsess about this sound in their head. And the problem is with that, you don't hear what's coming out the speakers. The other problem with it is that you start convincing yourself that you have got the sound because you're so obsessed with the sound in your head. Yeah, you start to convince yourself that it is coming out the speakers. It's one of the things that reliably creates the situation where you really love something, you know, late at night or something, and then you come back to it and it sounds absolutely terrible. It's because you've convinced yourself that what's in your head is coming out of the speakers. The mind is an incredibly powerful thing. Okay, so if you just release, I mean, you are going in the direction of your design idea. Design comes into it. Yeah, design it has to, because you think, you know, you have thoughts. Yeah, but you're being freer with it, more flexible with those ideas.